So that
Yeah.
delayed things a little bit. And then when of course we were talking the case through, and this other possibility of putting this other evidence in the pleadings came up, I said, well, then we better look at that. So anyway, but I can confirm that I received a text message this evening, as a matter of fact, from the folks who said, yep, we'll get it to you first thing in the morning. So
Awesome.
assuming they come, I
Well,
mean, it's one
I
of those
can't
things.
wait.
We'll get the evidence no matter what. You know, I can certainly subpoena it from them,
Right.
but I'd prefer them to voluntarily give it to me.
Yeah,
For a number of good, obviously good reasons.
Yeah, it's always nice to have cooperation rather than having to get the court to make someone do something.
Right. And this case is a little different too, in that we're going to be on an accelerated calendar once we get moving, because it's packed for our purposes. I mean, once we get this thing going, we want to start doing a lot of things just bam, 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 bam. But usually in litigation, you do these things sequentially. You know, you'll get the pleadings done, then you'll start working on written discovery, then you'll start doing this and that. We're doing all this stuff in parallel right now, so that the minute they answer, you know, we can start moving. That'll be the next timeline wise. What'll happen is we'll file suit sometime this week. I'd be looking for it. I'd be paying attention tomorrow if I were casual observers. But we'll file suit. The other side will respond. They'll have their answer deadline will be the Monday following the expiration of 20 days from the date they are served. Just as we file the suit, we still have to go through the mechanical process of getting them served by our process server. If they're sufficiently motivated, they can dodge the process server for a few days, maybe a week. But in any event, so during that gap period until they answer, we're not going to be doing very much. We'll probably be looking to get a temporary restraining order to stop them from talking. But I'm of two minds about that. Ordinarily you ask for a temporary restraining order because you want the other side to stop doing whatever it is you're complaining of. In the case of the people that we're up against, I'm sort of kind of happy for them to continue to act like idiots.
Yeah, they're not they're not the best about their communications, are they?
No. And so, I've never been in a case before where I actually have said that these people are so egregious in their conduct that it may actually be to our benefit to let them just keep going at it. I don't know. That's a game day decision. But in any event, that's how it goes. If I were the other side, I wouldn't be dancing in the end zone and spiking the ball just yet.
Right. So you're saying this is how Bernie can still win.
Yeah. I wouldn't count us out just yet. And of course, everybody needs to remember too, as I've said repeatedly, the first round will only hit certain targets. Iago and Igor, for example, will not be sued this week unless now you know what? Let me say this. It's not my plan to sue them, but I haven't seen this discovery that's coming in. That could theoretically change that attitude, but I'll let you know if that's the case. Once we file suit, once we finally get around to suing them, I will confirm who Iago and who Igor, who their actual identities.
Okay, that'll be exciting.
They're not on the target list. Yeah. Well, I mean, it'll,
at that point, it won't matter.
I think, right. Well, yeah. Anybody that's paying attention will look at it and go, "Oh, yeah, that's who that was."
Yeah, I'm going to guess that several people have figured them out, but I don't know. I've only got my suspicions.
Yeah, no, I've kept that close to the vest. I had several people at Kamehacon even come up and say, "Who's Igor?" And I'm going, "Well, listen, all will be revealed."
Right.
So anyway.
Well,
I'm personally ready to get this on the way. We've been sitting on the launch pad now. Although it's funny, we haven't been doing this 2 months.
Yeah,
I was putting the timeline together. I told Vic this morning. I was talking on the phone. I said, "You realize I have not even known you 2 full months yet."
Goodness gracious!
And I know he's like, "Really?" I said, "Yep." And I was looking because I pointed him out when my notes begin. the first notes I have from my first conversation with him begin, and it's I believe the 21st of February, 20th or 21st of February, something like that. So we've been in a very compressed time frame here.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, often a suit that's very complicated and with multiple defendants like this, you could be sitting and planning for several months before you even are thinking of an order or thinking of a lawsuit.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're sweating a statute of limitations problem, which I've got in another defamation case I've taken. It doesn't involve a voice actor or anything, but there's someone else that was watching your show, as a matter of fact, in a different industry that called me up. Yeah, we're approaching the other side to see if they'll be intelligent and reasonable and retract. And if they don't, we'll be suing. That particular case will happen a lot faster because we have a statute of limitations problem.
Sure.
They did the same thing that so many people do. You know, they tried to ride it out. Well, of course, you know, every single time something new happens in their business that's successful, these people come out of the woodwork. And with a 2-year statute of limitations, they're going to have to move quicker. But normally, it would not be uncommon at all for us to spend 4 or 5 months putting a petition like this together.
Oh, of course.
You know, with this many parties, this much evidence, and so forth.
One of the chats, actually, this is from Comic Con Freak. He says, Ty, has this case been the biggest or strangest you've ever taken on? What about all this case stood out to you the most? And thank you for all that you do. So you mentioned that normally in a case, you know, that's complicated like this, have you had bigger cases? I mean, I assume so, but I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I've had bigger cases, both in terms of a dollar amount. Have I had anything? I've definitely handled more complicated cases and bigger ones. This is easily the weirdest case of the last few years. We've had some very interesting cases over the last 22 years. None come to mind that are stranger and more entertaining. We had, one of these days I'll come on your show and tell you about some of the just oddball things, because some of them are legitimately funny.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But I will say this: it's interesting to me in the sense that I had no real awareness of this industry, right? I mean, I'm at best a very marginal anime fan, and fandom in general is something that sort of mystifies me a little bit. It was very, very enlightening to go to Kamehacon this weekend and kind of see it up close. So, no, it's not the biggest or the most complicated. It has been a lot of fun, and I use that word fun guardedly, because, you know, you never want to say to someone, "Ooh, I'm having a great time trying to put your life back together after everybody's trying to destroy you."
Right.
You know?
But there are aspects of this.
Vic understands what I'm.
Yeah,
what I'm getting at.
There are aspects of this case, given the the very public nature of it, and the fandom being involved, and even the characters, of course, of the show are all characters, right? They're all actors, and there's some of them seem to have a desire to have some bravado and acting going in, like into their how they've approached this case and stuff like that. It's very, very interesting, very weird.
Yeah, weird. Yeah, that's a good. That's a great way. I've never seen businesses run as amateurishly as I've seen in this space. I've never seen legitimate companies that somebody paid a ton of money for make some of the very, in my opinion, very unwise, very unbusinesslike, very emotional, very really, really idiotic decisions that have been made. And I'll be free to talk about a lot of this once we file the suit. One of the things that, you know, I have to be careful of, obviously, is I've got, until we file the suit, I'm just a private citizen commenting just like you.
Right.
And so I have to, you know, I have to, but I haven't said a thing on your show that I can't prove to be true. I mean, you know, there's no factual statements I've made have been untrue, none whatsoever.